Distinguished Toastmasters, guests, friends from all over the world, today we'll be sharing on a topic that is really powerful and really personal to all of us: fear. What is fear? Some people say it means false evidence appearing real when you put... I hope you're seeing my screen. Sorry.
Yes, but only on the main slide. Can you make it slideshow?
Okay. Can you see it now, please?
Yes, we can see it now.
Yes, perfect.
Beautiful. Thank you for the feedback. And so some people say is FEAR. F stands for false evidence appearing real. E is evidence, A appearing real. Some people say fear simply means fear everything and run, or face everything and rise. And today I want us to take the last explanation, because fear is something we all experience. And as public speakers, remember that first time that you've had to stand in front and say, it's your icebreaker speech. Sometimes you don't know how the icebreaker is going to turn out. So you start thinking, what do I do? So you go to your mentor, and your mentor says, don't worry. If it's DTM Priscilla would say, just write it down. Or Kajitan would say, just talk about yourself. And then you go put it down. But you and I know that the night before your presentation, you will always be thinking about how that icebreaker is going to turn out. And so we start today with what we call the anxiety triggers. What triggers anxiety? What triggers fear? What makes us anxious? Using the Toastmasters manual, says it's new and unknown situations. Anytime we are going to face a new situation and something we don't know, anxiety is triggered. Or sometimes it's a risk of failure. The risk of failure. Growing up, probably in school, we may have been taught not to fail. Probably at home, probably at even workplaces. We may have made bosses who would say, no, you have had it right. You have to have it right all the time. Get it right. So we may have been programmed to think that failure is something we should avoid at all costs. So the thought of avoiding failure will always make us anxious. The next one is, no one wants to appear foolish. I mean, not the newcomer, not the DTM, not the new bank manager. No one absolutely likes to appear foolish. So oftentimes, once we faced with that opportunity to speak in front of a crowd, we keep wondering, will I appear foolish? And since we don't know, it triggers anxiety. And then the last one would be the possibility of boring the audience. I mean, we've all listened into presentations that were boring. And sometimes you sleep off, feels like you're going to snore. And we don't want to be any of those people. So these are the things that cause anxiety, trigger anxiety within us. And just so we know, I like to state here that these things are normal. Psychologists have identified them as just normal responses, nothing to really be worried about. So let's look at the symptoms of anxiety quickly. Imagine having anxiety. What are your own symptoms? How do you feel? Does your palms become sweaty? I mean, some people experience sweaty palms. So other people, it could be increased heart rate. Someone said in one of the speeches, Toastmasters and guests, my chest was pounding. My heart was racing. I began to experience butterflies in my stomach, and then my palms were shaky. Those were all anxiety symptoms. I'm sure we must have all listened to this kind of speeches. And then sometimes in extreme cases, we feel lightheaded. So these are the symptoms of anxiety. And if it happens to us, we should just understand that these things are normal. Okay, so how do we manage anxiety quickly? Let's start with the first one. Practice, practice, practice. Before I even start about mirror, I want to talk about practice, practice, practice. Why does practice work? Practice works because when we practice in front of a mirror, the mirror is at home and it's a familiar situation. So we're going to imagine ourselves relaxing. And that relaxation experience will make us understand that we can manage the sphere in front of a crowd. When we practice in front of our friends or family members, it helps us to calm down. Our spouses, they will tell us, relax, 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 you can handle this. So that's why practice is one of the proven ways to manage anxiety. In fact, someone said that there is nothing like an impromptu speech, that even the impromptu speeches that we give, we practice for them. Yes, I've talked about rehearsing in front of family and friends, but one thing I also want to suggest, which has worked for me, is to record ourselves. Why is it important to record yourself? Imagine that you are watching yourself on TV or on a clip. You already have an opportunity to evaluate yourself. Sometimes you probably may have thought you had a boring voice, but the moment you record yourself and play it loud, you suddenly realize, oh, my voice is so sonorous. Was I the one speaking? Or sometimes you might think that you're not really good with smiles and body language. But when you record yourself and watch yourself, it's like seeing yourself on TV. You already know how beautiful you look. And then probably you can begin to change your clothes and imagine how you're going to look on your big day. Then, one other way to manage anxiety would be delivering the speech before your Toastmasters Club. This is something we do in Kuwait Challengers a lot. I remember when I was going for the contest, the Kuwait Challengers put together everyone to listen to my speech and to listen to our speeches. Toastmaster Dinesh was doing the humorous speeches. And then he talked about his wife. And so we're all laughing. And the moment we started laughing, he got the feedback. He knew he was funny, super funny. So rehearsing in front of the club gives you that feedback that you're probably going to have when you're standing in front of the big audience. All right, give presentations before other groups, not just under the club. I have a friend in my club who goes out to the waterside to practice his speeches. And I'm not just kidding here. He loves nature. And so he tells me, Nameti, once I'm preparing for my speech, I go in front of the beach. I go to the waterside. It's calm. And I speak to the elements. I speak to the sea. And then I feel the calmness of the place. And it builds this confidence within me. So you could just find out whatever works for you and practice. It helps. Okay. Another thing we can do to manage anxiety is visualization. The same way we imagine ourselves fumbling and stumbling during our speeches, we can also flip the coin and imagine ourselves doing well. For me, sometimes, I imagine the audience reacting to a certain line, and then I imagine how they will smile. I imagine myself being calm. Visualization is a very powerful process. I mean, during meditation, you could just visualize yourself, visualize the audience, and then create that mental picture. It helps to manage anxiety. Relaxation is also another technique. I've talked about meditation. How do we relax? Take a deep breath. At this point, I would want everyone to just sit down, breathe in, take a deep breath, and then hold it, and then breathe out. We talked about breathing meditation in one of our meetings. I think it was last year or year before last. when we talked about the theme of the meeting being the meeting on meditation. Breathing was seen as a very powerful tool. In fact, I think there's something called breathe yoga. So practice breathing. When you breathe in, you breathe out. It helps you to relax. And then last but not least, practice naming your feelings. It was a psychologist called William James that said that if you can name anything, you can tame it. So ask yourself, what am I feeling? Am I anxious? Am I feeling nervous? Is it fear? Am I disappointed with myself after this practice? So once you step into the mode of naming your feelings, you acknowledge your feelings, you embrace them, and it helps you to relax. It's a form of therapy and it helps you to grow in self-awareness. And let me also state here that public speaking is not just about communication. It's about learning how to be at home with yourself, to have a great sense of self-awareness, to know your strength, your weaknesses, your superpowers. For example, you can just take out a piece of paper and tell yourself, okay, what am I good at? Toastmaster Jetty Johnson can say, oh, I have a powerful voice. And then Toastmaster Jinish can say, I'm funny. Toastmaster John James can say, or John can say, okay, I am calm when I speak. So in addition to naming your feelings, you could take out a piece of paper when you go home today and ask yourself, what superpowers do I have? Each time we come up to the stage, people notice a superpower. Our first speaker today has a superpower. Each time she speaks, you find out that she is calm, she's collected, and there is this effortlessness. She speaks from the heart. So once you know your superpower, you can always step into it anytime you want to speak. In conclusion, I would like to say, Toastmasters and guests, there's something called the spotlight effect. It's a phenomenon in social psychology that says that each time we are in the spotlight, we'll just imagine that people can see through us. So we have this illusion of transparency. So that's why sometimes we forget your lines. I remember forgetting my lines in one of my speeches. And when I came out, I was talking to my club members. I told the video, Toastmaster DT and Priscilla, I forgot my lines. I forgot my lines. And DT and Priscilla said, don't worry, Toastmaster Nameti. I mean, no one noticed it. We did not even notice it. It was just simply awesome. So the spotlight effect makes us nervous in the spotlight. But psychologists have concluded, even Toastmasters have said, that it is normal to feel nervous. So next time you feel nervous, take a deep breath, relax, and remind yourself that even the greatest speakers still feel nervous. You see those butterflies in your stomach? Give them wings, let them begin to fly, and then you soar with them. It is perfectly normal to feel nervous. In fact, if you don't feel nervous, probably you're not a human being. So it's normal, embrace it. I like to end with this quote that, okay, before I end with the quote, let me say that I've talked about that the audience may not notice, and then use methods to exhibit confidence. A quote that I like to end with is an anonymous quote, and I want all of us to read it together. I may not hear you out there in the room. I may not hear you where you're reading, but unmute yourself and let's read this quote together. Are we good? 1, 2, go.
Good.
Thank you.
Our
Our largest
fear
Our largest fear
carries your
your greatest growth.
Beautiful. That's a quote from Anonymous. So today, I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, step out there, embrace your fear, and then become the best version of yourself. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.